Ladies and gentlemen.
I can't really heard what Jeremy says because I got my 2 Stanley Cup rings plugged in my ear.
Introduce.
This is a guy that's going to be traded, though. You're an announcer with a long stick from time to time.
You think it's my fault? Is that what you're saying? This guy's such an idiot here.
The Puck Luck Fantasy Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Puck Luck Fantasy Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Sudemans, and right over there is your other host, Derek Sudemans. Today we're going to be breaking down the 2-game slate on DraftKings. Don't forget to check out the website, puckluckfantasy.com. You'll find our skater and stack rankings, goalie rankings, line matching stats, lots of great tools there to check out when you're building your lineups. And without further ado, let's get into the first game of the night between the Washington Capitals and the Pittsburgh Penguins, where we have Braden Holtby projected and Matt Murray projected. It's one of those nights where there's not a lot of difference in between the values of each goalie. Murray happens to be the top goalie regardless. And then I'll mention Hellebuck's our least favorite tonight, but there's only about a 14% difference in value, which isn't really worth worrying about, especially when in tournaments you're more worried about trying to fit a goalie that fits into your lineup, especially on these 2-game slate nights where there isn't a whole lot of options. I will also mention Holtby would be our third favorite goalie of the night, but yeah, not much difference in it. So what do we got for stacks and skaters?
We got a couple that we can play from this game. There's not a whole lot, but there definitely is a few we can target. The main one being the second line from the Penguins. So that would be the one with Evgeny Malkin, Brian Rust, and Riley Sheahan now. So that was a change we just saw. So they are moderately priced as a whole. I really like both Malkin individually and Rust. Rust sees a lot of penalty kill time. Malkin's down to 6.7K. So they're really good as a full unit there. You can pair Chris Letang with them. I was wondering, is Sheahan on the second unit from the Pittsburgh? You might want to check that out, see if he pairs with Mata. But that would be the other play.
No, Sheahan's not getting any power play time.
Okay, yeah, Sheary. Okay, that's what I was mentioning.
Sheary's on the second line, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, no real correlation there. But if you're gonna pair Letang, we'll definitely pair with Malkin there. The other play that you could play is from the third line from the Penguins. I don't really like them quite as much, but Phil Kessel has really been dropping in price. Also, Derek Brassard has been dropping in price. So those two are both very valuable individually. We don't really like Sheary that much, even though he is getting that little bit of power play time. It's a very small amount. So really, I'd probably just look for a mini stack between those two. But that's really it for the Pittsburgh side. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to be fading the top line with Gensel, Hornqvist, and Crosby. They're just too expensive. Gensel has come up a ridiculous amount in price. Crosby is pretty much at his all-time high. Hornqvist is getting right up there as well. So it's going to be a night where I'm going to have to fade them and just hope that they don't really go off because, they're just not worth it in terms of value for tonight.
Yeah, that's a ton of price for one line, 20,000 just for those three.
Yeah, you do see a couple that do get up there, but I mean, it's rare. Definitely, like the Boston top line is really the only one that, and then the Vegas top line are the only ones really that come to mind that really come in that range. But yeah, that's a huge price for them. I guess they've been producing, but I think that's definitely a little too expensive for them as a whole.
Yeah.
And then we have a couple on the Washington side of things. Not really any that I like. The top one will be the top line from the Capitals with Ovechkin, Devontae Smith-Pelly now, and Evgeny Kuznetsov. So Wilson is suspended, so Smith-Pelly is going to be taking his spot. They're really right on the bubble. I will have a couple of them in my lineups, but not going to go too crazy with them. If you do want to pair John Carlson, he's always a good match to go with them.
I'd say if you compare him with it maybe brings him a little bit up from outside of a bubble pick.
A little bit. But even if you take like the other players, like the Nashville ones when we get to. They get pulled up even more.
True.
But Carlson definitely pulls them up a tiny bit. Not as much as he normally does, but so that's a little bit of a weaker play for today. But yeah, so they're just really more of a bubble play. I probably won't be going there.
Okay.
And then I'm not really interested in any of the other lines for Washington as well for tonight.
Okay, well, then I guess we can head on to the next game between the Nashville Predators and the Winnipeg Jets. We got Pekka Rinne projected and Hellebuck projected. Rinne's our second favorite goalie value-wise tonight, and Hellebuck would be the last, as I mentioned before. However, only 14% worse than the top line. Not really worth worrying about. Go ahead with the stacks.
Yeah, so this is where we're going to be focusing mainly tonight. So there's a lot to like here, and there's a lot of different combinations you can use as well, which is always nice. So we'll be back. Well, we're in Winnipeg tonight. In terms of line matching, it'll probably be a lot of just 1 versus 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, but it's really only moderate. I kind of expect a little bit of everyone to play a little bit of everyone else. That being said, the top lines are both of the lines for Nashville. The top line by our model is the second line with Kevin Fiala, Kyle Turris, and Craig Smith. So they keep dropping in price like crazy because they just haven't connected yet. I've been waiting for it. Hopefully it'll be really soon. Hopefully tonight will be the night that they do go off. But they're just really, really cheap in terms of salary, and you can pair them up with the most expensive lines tonight and definitely get away with it. They also pair with the top-rated defenseman of the night, so putting them all together gives you an insane amount of value if you can make that work. So that would be my first play to go to. But I really do like the top line of the Predators. I like them a little bit better than the second line just because they are seeing a little bit more of the ice time now that the second line has sort of cooled off a little bit, and they have been on fire. Unfortunately, they'll probably be a little bit more owned as well because of that, but still, they're in a great spot. We really like them at that price, and they go well with both... they go with Subban. I should also mention that Ryan Ellis is playable with the second line as well because he plays with Roman Josi and that second line on their second power play unit.
Yeah, and he's our fifth favorite defenseman overall, so he's also a great value.
Yeah, exactly. So either one of them, you can mix and match with a lot of these Nashville players. Winnipeg is like one of the very few teams that I do target the penalty kill just because they do take so many penalties. And it hasn't super correlated over to the playoffs from the regular season, but I am hoping that will regress a little bit. They had a few penalties the last game, so
you target Nashville's power play
exactly
due to
Winnipeg's penalty kill. So targeting the penalty kill, so going after the power play, but so you can that's why you would definitely want to pair your defenseman if you are taking any of the two stacks from Nashville, because they most likely are going to get that power play correlation bonus, which is what you need. And then the other real main plays is on the Winnipeg side of things. So the only really line that I like that is in that like really upper tier of price is the Kyle Connor, Blake Wheeler, and Mark Scheifele. Kyle Connor individually is a really good price, especially if you're playing cash. We like him quite a bit. But them as a whole line in general, they do really well, and they actually pair with a couple of the defensemen.
Yeah, so Connor pairs up well with Myers on that second power play unit, and then Wheeler and Scheifele pair well with Byfuglien, who's our second favorite goalie or second favorite defense overall tonight in terms of value. So yeah, even if you want to do some little mini stacks like that, those three and those two, that works too. Or the full three and then add either one of those defense.
Yeah, I think if you can do the top line and then you actually, instead of going Byfuglien, do pivot to Myers, that will definitely get you differentiated in sort of the ownership end of things. And that would definitely be a great play. Myers at $3.8K now. He's getting a lot of ice time. He's out there. He's getting a lot of power play time now too, actually, and he's out there for a bit of the penalty kill. So we really like him. Actually, he gets a lot of penalty kill time as well. So he has a great floor, even for cash if you need a cheaper defenseman there. But tournaments, he's a great play, especially, you can pair him or you can use him just as a one-off, but I do like the idea of pairing him with the top line. The only other line you could play from this game is the second line from Winnipeg. So line A, Ehlers and Stasny. They're right on the bubble, so they're sort of my last bubble play, but I do really like them. They will be getting the easier matchup tonight as well, seeing a lot of the Nashville depth, which we have seen can be exposed. So they are in a pretty decent spot tonight. They pair well with both defensemen again.
Yeah.
So Myers. So like we said, there's a ton of room here to really get creative with your lineups, which is pretty fun. Even usually that doesn't happen on these like tiny slates. So make sure you're really, I'm going to be focusing anyways heavily on this game and trying to be getting as much value as I can here.
Yeah, and it's handy when you can mix and match on these small slates because it is hard to fill up that salary on the smaller slates and have it fit perfectly. So if you can just move different players from the same team, that makes it a lot easier to build those lineups.
Yeah, and I would say definitely on these 2-game slates, don't be afraid to sort of like get like a little further away from filling that cap. You can have $500-$600 left for sure in your tournament plays anyways. Cash, you really want to try to still get up there, but for tournaments, don't be afraid if you still have a little bit of money left on the table, because that's sometimes what you just need to, that's just what happens on these tiny slates.
Right on. And there's nothing else to mention with this game?
No, I think that will wrap it up there. Like I noticed Trouba is sometimes we like him, but he's not really super valuable today. So we really mentioned the 2 defensemen. So that really does it for this game.
Right on. All right. So let's get over to our puck luck picks of the day, where you give us some high, medium, and cheap picks, favorite values from each tier, and your favorite stacks. So go ahead with that.
All right, so at the top end today, I'm going to go with Evgeny Malkin. So he's at 6.7K, which is a good price for him. In terms of sort of a medium to expensive pick, I'm going to go with Victor Arvidsson at 5.3K today. In terms of sort of a medium to cheap pick, I'm going to go with Craig Smith at 4.3K. And then in terms of a really cheap pick, I'm going to go with Brian Rust. Or is it? Yeah, Brian Rust at 3.8K.
I know.
I like, for my favorite stack of the night, I'm going to go with the Arvidsson, Johansson, and Forsberg line. If you want to turn that into a mega stack, you can throw PK Subban on there. And then in terms of a mini stack, my favorite one of tonight is going to be Yossi and Fiala.
Okay, and that wraps things up. Don't forget, check out the website, puckluckfantasy.com. Be sure to have that pulled up in a tab when you're building your lineups. You'll find it very useful. It shows basically everything you need to know. The values, the salaries, how much expected fantasy points they're going to get, what team they're on, what opposing team, projected ice time for all special teams and even strength. It shows you everything. So if you're going to be building a lineup, get on our site, sign up with your email there too, and you'll get any updates and a discount when we turn this thing into full blown next season. You'll be seeing lots of changes in the off season. Right now, everything is free, so why not take advantage of that? Also, follow us on Twitter. We're also on your favorite podcasting platforms, Stitcher, iTunes, and SoundCloud for now. Probably more to come once we get rolled out some more. Also, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. We will see you tomorrow.